What's up, guys? Philly Soccer Page postgame show with Mike Zervideo and Kevin Kincaid tonight. Union rally from 1-0 deficit to come back to win 2-1 against the Red Bulls to advance in the Open Cup. It's the old cliche tale of two halves that we heard 7 times in the press conference, but really was tonight.
It was, yeah, and I didn't expect them to come out and perform the way they did in the second. I think we looked at the stat sheet and they were outshot
13-1.
13-1
Yeah.
in the first one, and they just didn't. El Senior looked off. Tranquillo Bernetta was sort of out of position, not really where he needed to be. Roland Alberg, I felt like he was wasting time kind of arguing with the ref and not focused on playing. And the second half, they just really cleaned it up and turned everything around. Everything that they had been doing in the beginning of the year that had made them successful, the urgency and the team defense and the pressing and getting the fullbacks up and stuff like that, they really completely changed every single thing they were doing. And you can't say they didn't deserve it,
No, I thought the way that they played it out over the last 20 minutes after they took the lead was impressive in itself.
Yeah, it was an interesting sub, too, where Jim puts Leo Fernandez up top and he moves Sebastian over to the right. Then he brings Brian Carroll in and he gets Tranquillo up into the number 10. And they were just able to sustain that. It wasn't really like just they scored off that quick flurry where they were pushing numbers up on the right side, but it wasn't anything that went away. They just had more, in addition to tactically and stylistically changing what they wanted to do, they also just played harder.
I think we have to give Jim Curtin a little bit of credit too. I think he's coach has been criticized for maybe the timing of some of his subs or maybe not making the right subs, but it seemed like they were all spot on tonight.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me take it in this direction. I think when you talk about what makes a good in-game coach, anybody can. It's a lot easier to point to. We took this guy off the field and this guy came on and scored a goal or whatever, right? But I think to me the bigger indicator of what makes a coach a good in-game manager or not is in a game like this where you bring the same 11 guys out on the field in the second half and they're playing a completely different way.
Yeah.
Because that means that those 11 same guys can take different instructions and respond to what you're saying and try something differently and have a different mentality as opposed to pulling a guy off the field, changing the shape and doing all this. They came out in the same thing that they were playing, right? They just adjusted a little bit, and that made all the difference,
Let's talk about the 2 goals a little bit. I mean, it's El Senior to Pontius on both goals. Barnetta really involved in the build-up to the second goal. But I thought, El Senior just turned it on in the second half, like completely out of the game in the first half, and just finds his feet in the second.
That's why I think, it could have been, you could have easily said, well, you take El Senior off. But what's the point? Like a guy can't improve if he's not on the field. So credit to him, he came out and played a lot better. And they were pressing, and then I keep turning here because I'm looking at the spot on the field where they were pressing. I keep forgetting people aren't looking at the same. But they were crowding numbers into that area, and so that gave him more time on the ball because Keegan Rosenberg then was able to get up. Warren Craval was able to get up a little bit further. And, in the first one, I think it was actually a really nice run from Sebastian where he does this
pulls the defender away.
This little serpentine kind of thing. And, so Zubar takes a step back, and then he follows him inside, and that creates the path for El Senior to get the ball through. And what can you say about Pontius Run? He's been doing that kind of stuff all year.
Yeah.
Second one was the same kind of thing, but I don't know. I thought for sure. I thought at first for sure that took some kind of deflection and skipped.
Because it's definitely it seemed like it
looked like it had some kind of
forward
top spin on it. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe he just got there first and chipped it. I guess we'll have to ask him next time we see him.
Yeah. The goal that the Union does concede tonight is another set-piece goal, which has become a huge problem over the last 3 games. They've conceded at least 1 set-piece goal, 2 against Chicago. What do you see from them? Is it poor marking? Is it not? Is it poor clearance? Is it a combination of all those things?
This one I think was just a little bit unlucky, but Richie Marquez told us that he was pissed off about it, in the locker room, and he said, hey, it took a deflection on the way in. He just tried to slide or go to ground or just take a swing at it, and this one I don't. Yeah, he's just got to get it out of there no matter what, and for the most part that's his game. It's just no nonsense, kind of just hey, if you have any questions, just get it out. So I don't know. Set pieces are hard. Set pieces are just desire and just the urgency to be first to the ball or whatever. This one was kind of. I wouldn't hold it too much against him,
The set play goal on Saturday in the loss to Vancouver is a ball that slips through Andre Blake's hands. You can't fault Blake much on the Red Bulls goal tonight, but it really seemed like a little bit of a return to form for him too. He makes that great save on Grella in the first half, off his line very quickly all night. I don't think the Red Bulls were first to anything in the box when he had a chance to get it.
Yeah, first half he might have been the best Union player on the field, and you know what? If he hadn't come up, there was a save on this end. You know, that diving save, the sprawling one where he was up in the upper 90. It could have been 2-0, and maybe the game would have come out differently. But it was good to see him doing that, especially the team only giving up one goal. Because we can talk all we want about Elsinio and Chris Pontius runs and the tactical adjustments and stuff like that. But the fact that they gave up three, and they gave up three games in a row or whatever, and shored up the defense. That might actually be the biggest takeaway from this one.
Sure. I think we'd be hard-pressed not to talk about a little bit what happens at the very end of the game. Mike Sorber sent off coach for the Philadelphia Union for apparently kicking the ball back on the field. I couldn't tell what happened from where we were sitting. And then even after that, Jesse Marsch sent off and throws 2 balls into the ground in front of the Union bench. What did you make of that?
I loved it. If we're being completely honest, I loved it. Because that's what we lack in this sport, I mean, like, any big personalities and stuff like that, that's harmless. He took 2 balls, he spiked them in front of the Union bench, didn't hit anybody. You could say it's classless, but I just see it as a passionate dude who's just when Bobby Knight picked up the chair and threw it across the basketball court however many years ago, did anybody call him classless or say it was dangerous or anything like that? No, I mean, it was an iconic sports moment. So I don't know. It was a little, I felt like he was justified in at least being upset, because a lot of the calls did seem to be going against them. Like the last one that they called on Bradley Wright Phillips for bracketing the guy. I mean, I don't know. Do you really?
It's soft in the 90th minute of a game where your team is looking for a goal, but
Mike Sorber, I don't. It's just you have to train the ball boys to do that. So, throw the ball out on the field to waste time, so you don't get sent off yourself. But
I mentioned the loss to Vancouver on Saturday, and I want to go back to talk about that for a minute. We didn't get a chance to do the show on Saturday. The loss, it still seemed like the Union executed their game plan, though. I thought Vancouver did a great job of capitalizing on the chances they were given, but the Union probably created enough chances to at least get a point out of that game if they had finished a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so. And the guys said after the game that they felt like the mistakes that they made were correctable, fixable defensive problems, right? Andre with the individual mistake, Josh Yarrow on the Kikuta Mane goal, where he steps originally and then he realizes he's not going to get there, so he takes a step back and then he sort of takes a swing at it while he's falling backwards. Those are things that you can easily correct,
Yeah.
Set pieces you can fix up too. It's not like they were getting exposed continually and have gaping holes all over the field. It's stuff that is at least identifiable and fixable. And I think tonight was probably the first instance of them trying to patch that up,
I think we'll wrap up there. Union travel to Houston. Oh, New England won 3-2. So okay. Union will travel to New England in the next round.
I would have been more interested in going to the
Cosmos.
Yeah, sure.
New England defeats the Cosmos in the round of the Open Cup, so the Union will travel to New England to face the Revolution in the next round. I think that is in 3 weeks.
July 20-something.
Yeah. In the meantime, the Union travel to Houston on Saturday to face the Dynamo, 8 p.m. our time. Check us out on the Philly Soccer page. Check Kevin out on Philly Voice. Thanks for watching.